Twisted case out of South Florida and a murder mystery. We're diving into the past of a man that police say stabbed a teenager to death inside a luxury high-rise condo in Miami as he slept. And the victim, according to police, was a random target. The suspect is also now dead. Police say he fell hundreds of feet to his death shortly after the murder.
What's going on, you guys? AJ Tucker with AJ Self-Defense, man, and this is definitely a tragic story, but I use these stories, man, to talk about things that can save a life, but it's not about physically protecting yourself. It's not about fighting somebody off. It's not about learning certain moves. It is things that, you know, from an awareness, situational awareness standpoint, what could have been done. So in this story, this man, he stabs a 13-year-old to death for no reason. When they talk to police, they say that they didn't know each other. It was just a random stabbing. Now, let's talk about this a little bit. And if you want like some more backstory on this guy, you can go to the Crime and Law Network and check on this story. My main concern, my main focus is things that happen and what can you do to protect yourself from those things. Maybe it's nothing that you can do. Sometimes it works out like that, but it's so many variables and variety of things that can happen to you. But there are a few things that you can do that will shut a lot of stuff down. Now, in this case, what happened? So if you check out the Crime and Law Network, or you check out the story, this man who's 26 years old, he goes into this very bougie high-rise, like very like high security, where people needed a key fob to get in, but all he did was hang around, waited for somebody who had a key fob, and just followed them in. That's how we got in. So what's the point of even having a key fob? Now, I remember when I used to go to Uptown Dallas, one of my nutrition mentors lived there in the high rise. And whenever you go to the front door, it was a guy there. It was an actual person that let everybody in. So he knew if you were supposed to be in there or not, and you literally had to sign in. You just couldn't just walk in. If you lived there, of course, you could just walk in. But if you didn't live there, you had to like get past the security guard. And then once you got there, they had another set of security guards and you had to sign in to get up there. And you might be thinking like, well, that's unnecessary. Why can't I just have a key fob? Well, look what happened. You know, I'm not saying it happens all the time. I'm pretty sure they have other measured ends, but I can only go off of this story and talk about that. He sat around and waited for people who had a key fob, and that's how he got in, right? Let's talk about the second layer of defense, the random stabbing. So he went into the room, the door was unlocked. The door was unlocked. That's how he got in. There was no break-in, nothing like that. The door was already unlocked. Don't know why, but when people say lock your doors, it sounds so simple, but a lot of things happen where people just go. I don't know what kind of mental state the killer was in, but they just go and they check doors, and whichever one's open, they go in there to do whatever they're gonna do, right? So that's the second layer of defense right there. Those are two things that I covered. Sounds pretty obvious, right? It is when we think about it right now, but it happened, so I'm sharing it. And hey, security, you got security there for a reason. People paying all this money to live in this high rise for a reason. Why is just anybody able to get in? Is it because of the way he looks? I don't know. So, and then he got into his apartment because the door was unlocked. Simple, just simple stuff, man. But not here victim blaming or anything like that. It's tragic. My goal is to talk about this, spread awareness, and just, you know, get people to think about stuff, man. Just get the thoughts out there. Not to live a life of fear, but a life of always being ready so you don't have to get ready. That's all I got. I'll see you on the next.